should be live streaming for us. So, what's up, everybody? Ryan Sanders here with Project Fresh. I hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. Make sure that's off so I don't see anything. Got my YouTube up, so I make sure I don't miss any chats. So, this is Project Fresh. We are a health and fitness-based company, very specifically. Myself, I'm the owner, lead of the company. I do professional fitness coaching and wellness consulting. And so that's been our primary focus and service. And we have different products and partnerships that assist us with that as far as our coaching goes. Been doing that full time since 2016 in November. So this November will be a solid 25, 9 years that we've been doing it, which is great. We started part time back in 2012. So we've been doing this going on 13 years now, which is crazy to think, but very grateful. And so this particular podcast, Monday Lunch Live, is our weekly broadcast where we talk about different things, different topics, things that we see in the space out there in the wild, if you will. This is just a simulator. I'm saying this to my clients I just got off with, my TRX crew, late morning crew. This is a simulator. Anything that we do in the context of sitting down and talking about knowledge and concepts, and in that sense, this is where you can get understanding and you can gain knowledge. But where the learning comes is the wisdom when you go apply what you have gathered as far as information. Because otherwise, the information is useless, right? You don't go use it. What work is it to you? So that's what we do here on this channel is apply and provide wisdom. And I've had a few prospects as far as turning this more into an interviewing style format. I know the podcast style format is a lot more engaging, a lot more interesting, and definitely gravitates and grabs more attention. Just haven't found a kind of co-host, if you will, that matches to that yet. So if you guys happen to tune in today and know somebody who's in the same space as us as far as health and fitness, wellness, those kinds of things, they're looking to really, really build their overall lifestyle so that can directly contribute to their mental health, their physical health, their financial health, their relationships. That's a lot of what Fresh is about. Fitness, recreation, relationships, education, nutrition, sanctity, and health. That's what Fresh stands for. If you know anybody in the space who might like a partnership like that, let us know. We are definitely looking to connect and expand in that way, have some different opportunities available as well that might be a benefit to them. But ultimately, long story short, what we're going to talk about today is mental health leads the way. And I just got back from Chicago yesterday for a conference over the weekend. It was a health and wellness based conference. We had some training, some leadership type stuff, some mental mindset related stuff, which was great. Setting goals and growth commitments and things, some recognition. Unexpectedly got recognized 3 different times, 3 different awards within the format and structure of the business side of this company that we work with. This is one of the different teams within the structure of the business. So we got recognized for growing in different ways, volume team, and then some of the, what would you call the incentives we hit in the last year. So we got recognized for those 3 areas. That was a lot of fun. But ultimately, one thing in the summary and the wrap up yesterday, before I made my way back home, was sure to get some Chicago style deep dish at Giordano's. Definitely a must have. Our favorite Pan Asian restaurant was not open. They were closed temporarily. A lot of poor reviews. I'm very sad to see that. So I'm hoping it's just the location. We'll be back in Chicago in June. So we sure plan to go to Joy E. You guys know me or you know Chicago and you love any kind of Asian food, I would recommend highly like boba, all the traditional dishes of different Asian cultures. Strongly, very strongly encourage you to go check out Joy E. We've got multiple locations in the Chicagoland. Excellent restaurant, great food. Anyway, one of the summaries that I've been thinking about and realizing, I think I'm going to create a chart for this, and we're putting together some different presentations and things for those that might be interested in what it is that we do in general as far as Project Fresh, but overall. Everything around mental health leads the way. And I was just curious too, because I always like to make sure that we take an evidence-based approach, clinical studies, peer-reviewed studies specifically, look at the data. I like to go to NCBI, which hubs in NIH or PubMed, so that's your National Institute of Health. NCBI is, what does that stand for? I forget. The National Center for Biotechnical Information, or biotechnical information. And then they usually use PubMed Central as the format to host all of the different clinical studies. So I was just looking at some of the summary stuff now that we have AI everything. If it is a topic that the AI can kind of summarize for you, it definitely provides some good details. So I could probably just share this on, not that you guys need to read anything, so I'll be very brief in the share. But I just put in anxiety, depression, and loneliness statistics in the United States. And it shows that as of 2021 or in 2021, 40% of US adults, so we're talking about 290 million people, so whatever 40% of 290 is, half of that's going to be 145. So let's say 120, 125 million Americans had symptoms of anxiety and depression. 22 was 18% had symptoms of anxiety, and 21% had symptoms of depression. So I'm assuming that's a decrease, which if that's the case, that's really good to see. And it just talks about some of the different things related to loneliness, anxiety, depression, and maybe some of the possible causes. I remember prior to the pandemic, the Attorney General of the United States declared loneliness a national pandemic, meaning that it was at such a broad scale that it was impacting large amounts. I mean, 120 million people is a very large number of adults, not half, but 40% is a very large number. And the pandemic of depression and anxiety was most prevalent actually amongst men my age, in our mid 20s to roughly early to mid 30s. I don't remember the specific range, but the demographic most likely to take their life or have suicidal thoughts or anything else related to mental health. A lot of that, mindset, your self-talk, what goes on up here directly translates. Well, okay, Ryan, let's get to the point. Perfect. When you have stuff going on here, up here, what is that impact? I've already said it in today's post. What is that impact? Well, we know this. We may not think about it in like this way. We may not explicitly think about it, but implicitly, we might notice that how our mental health is going impacts our physical health. And that means, how's our fitness? How's our nutrition? How do we eat? How do we move on a regular basis? Are you wanting to go to the gym, but you keep telling yourself that you're not going to go, or you come up with some reason, which is, we all know is an excuse, right? You come up with a reason to not go to the gym. You come up with a reason to not eat the salad, but eat the, fast food, go to McDonald's or whatever. And you reason that it's cheaper. You reason that it's more convenient. You reason that you don't have the salad in your fridge. If you do, it's not prepared. And so apparently it's a lot easier for you to go drive somewhere and wait in a line to get some food versus make the salad in your fridge. You don't even have to leave the house. That's where mental health can start to impact our success in these other areas. Financial health. I don't have the skills. I don't have the mindset. I don't have the looks. I don't have the charisma. I don't have the confidence. I don't have so I can't make the money. Well, we've seen every walk of life in this country go and be successful in whatever it is they wanted to do, coming from nothing. And I know I'm getting into the conversation of pulling your boots up without the bootstraps thing. It's not that I'm trying to go there. I'm just saying that a lot of that has to do with mindset. Even if you're in the worst of case scenarios, the worst environment, the worst household, a very abusive household, a very abusive, uh, um, group of friends, whatever it might be, coming out of a gang situation, or coming out of a divorce, separated family, a mixed family, or excuse me, blended family is the proper term. So step um, in-laws, or not in-laws, but step parents or step siblings, whatever it might be. I'm not discounting that by any means, but we have to control the controllables. Remember, we did that topic a week or two ago. So let's play back into that. And we see it. We see people literally go from poor and stricken and all the different challenges to doing very well for themselves. And they don't have to be, multimillionaires. They can be, six-figure heirs, if you will, and still be doing, just fine in life. Obviously, we know kind of where the cap is to be able to afford things that were more easily afforded 20, 30, 40 years ago. But ultimately, the mental health does play into that. And as you might know, it even plays into our relationships. I just drew this little thing here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you have mental health here, and then you have relationships, physical health, and financial health. And technically, what I could do is draw an arrow back. But what I wanted to really kind of relate to myself and remember here is that the mental health impacts how the rest of these go. What we tell ourselves about these things impacts these things. There's only two different things we can tell ourselves. And we can tell ourselves, in a negative light, whatever aspects about it, we can think about it negatively. We can allow ourselves to continue to think about it negatively until it becomes a habit to think about it negatively. We can think about it in an understanding and loving way. Okay, this person's got problems. I really care about them. I love them. But if they're not going to be receptive and responsive to me and accept me and maybe allow me to illuminate some areas they may not see, I also have to love them and release, right? Let them go. Let them go and do their thing. Sometimes we have to bless and release, right? And in the same context with our physical health, I've talked about accountability and putting ourselves in positions on a regular basis to be successful. I had a guy as my Lyft driver yesterday. He was learning what I was doing, asking where he's from. He grew up in the Chicagoland area, now out in the burbs. And I was just sharing with him, like, yeah, it's really important. Most of us know what we need to do to be in good physical health and shape and experience better health. But it's a matter of putting ourselves into an environment. And I had a very short period of time. When you drop people off there at Chicago, those guards, they're there. They're looking to see you get out of there, like, go. The next people are coming in. So that airport, I remember going in and out of there so many times. Those people want you gone as fast as possible, dropping people off and get out of there. So I didn't have a lot of time to share with the guy, but I said, really emphasize, get a plan together and get yourself in an environment where you can be successful. Since around people who are doing the same thing you're doing, wanting to grow, getting the resources to work, which generally most times it works as long as it's not a diet. What are the first three letters of diet spell? Okay. It's a lifestyle. And then you plan to stay with it. It's a system. It's not a strategy, because that's what a diet is. It's a strategy to lose weight, and you might lose muscle tissue. Go to your wedding, and the next thing you know, you're right back into your old patterns. That strategy worked for a very short period of time, but now here you are right back to where you were, because the wedding's done. That the habits that you used, which only lasted for 2-3 months maybe, are gone, and now you're right back to those old patterns, those old habits that take over. And so, same thing with finances. How do you get out of debt? Well, first and foremost, you stop using the cards, stop spending the money, right? And then you create a plan. There's debt snowball, which we all have heard. If you've heard of Dave Ramsey, which she's all over the place, right? Well, there's a strategy that we discovered last year that I hadn't heard of called the debt avalanche. So it's a different process. You look at more the percentages as well as the balances, and you organize appropriately. It's a really cool strategy. Check it out if you have a chance. Debt avalanche. And so that's the strategy I've been on. Well, we got a dog, we got a few other things. So I'm a little bit behind on my strategy. One of my cards that I had planned to have paid off, I think by this month, is about 4 months behind. Dog and a few other different things. I hit that extra payment once or twice, and then had some other things come up, some shorter months, the holidays. And so I have to go back and reassess and say, okay, here's where I am. And I've got that plan literally right here. I can literally reach and grab my debt avalanche plan and look at it and see where I'm at. So yeah, February 2025 is where, according to that plan, this should be paid off. And I have probably 1, 2, 3. So I'm about 4 months. Yep, I was right. About 4 months behind the plan right now. So I need to reassess and see what I need to do to adjust so I can get myself, either caught back up, 1, or 2, readjust the plan and set the new date so I know what the new dates are. It's really literally that simple, right? And I can staple on the new sheet, put that on top. I got the old one, I got the new one. It is what it is. Keep it moving. Okay. And so that's mental health. So if I get into this thinking pattern of I gotta have it, I gotta have it, I gotta have it, which was my problem. I always see something, I'm like, oh, that would be useful, that'd be useful. I need that, I need to grab that, I need to buy that. And before I know it, it's sitting on the shelf collecting dust. I'm not even using it. I'm not even reading it. I'm not even applying it. It's not being incorporated into what I have that I thought I needed it for. Okay, so there you go. There's something that I'm working on to share with you guys that's very valuable. So when you're not addressing these high levels of stress and anxiety and depression and loneliness, that really messes with up here, and that impacts relationships, your physical health, and your financial health. And I just want to, in the context of what we do, I want to keep it to what we do. We were talking about health and the status of this country. We're getting worse and worse off in our health on a regular basis. Like we're in decline and continuing to decline. I didn't realize it, but I've seen, if you guys know Dr. Mark Hyman, sometimes I repost here on our page. Sometimes I post on my own page. He's a physician that I learned about a number of years ago, probably over 10 years at this point. Pastor Rick Warren did a book called The Daniel Plan. I think I've got it in one of my storage bins here. But he had Dr. Mark Hyman as one of the contributors to that book. And so I got to learn more about him, saw he was on Instagram, started following him. He's got his new company that does labs on a regular basis and assess them and gives you back feedback on your labs. I'm sure he's partnered with probably companies like LabCorp or others that do blood panels. I've recommended that to my clients in the past to do your blood panels so you can understand what your body's doing. Well, it's basically, I don't know if it's telehealth or web health, but basically you go get your lab, you upload all the data, and you have someone available to look through your material with you and advise if there's something wrong that you might want to go see your PCP, your primary healthcare or primary care physician, or whatever it is, or hey, I'm a physician, I see this, you might want to XYZ, your triglycerides are high, your LDLs are high, your HDLs are low. That's not good. We need to flip that. You need to get those HDLs up, and you get those LDLs down, you get those triglycerides down. They're getting into actually looking at the size of the molecules of those high density and low density lipids, those triglycerides, no, just the lipids, and the size of the fat molecules as well. Something more recent for assessing. Anyway, long story short, what I saw that he says in some of his posts is that 80% of the United States is overweight or anything above. So that would include obese. What I'm seeing based on some stats that might be 21, 23. Okay. So he might have numbers more from 24, but I'm seeing that the stats are up to 70%. So more than 40% of adults are obese and many others are overweight, which is 30%, which was 2017, 2018. So that data is old and does not capture COVID. And then there's about 10%, so 9.4% of the United States had severe obesity, which in the context of body fat percentage, that's going to be probably 42 to 45% body fat above. Now, I'm doing these assessments in an athletic club that has probably, 8,000 members. And so I'm one of, 15 trainers, 12, 15 trainers there doing assessments with those trainers, with clients in bodies. So I'm looking at their body composition. And I got a lot of people that come through that are 25, 30, 35, and I've seen a few even 40% body fat. I don't know if I've seen somebody all the way at 50, but I've seen some folks that have some really high fat body fat percentages or high percentage body fats, high body fat percentages. Wow. And so you'd be considered overweight if your body fat percentage is, let's see here, uh, in based on per body fat percentage. So you would be considered overweight if you're between 18 and 24% body fat. This is for men. And then obesity would be anything over 25%. Morbidly obese if you're 35 to 39, and then super obese is over 40%. For women, it is 25 to 30% overweight, 30 to 39% obese, and then 40 plus is going to be, oh, wait, there's one more category. That's obese. So morbidly obese is 40 to what, 45%? And then so a little bit higher. Where's my, sorry guys. A little bit higher than that. So we're, gosh, knocking on the door, potentially 50% body fat. That's awful. 50% or close to that is going to be super obese. So above morbidly obese is super obese. So the reason why women are a little higher than men is because obviously men carry more fat tissue than men do for children, for childbearing, different hormonal setup than us guys. So women are not smaller versions of men by any means, but that doesn't give any pass necessarily. If you would, women, you can lose weight just as easy as men can. There's just some different tweaks and things that you need to be mindful of to help you with that. Different factors and things, eating habits and such, that you just have to be mindful of. So all that being said, draws me right back to mental health. If your kids or your spouse or your dog or your job or whatever is stressing you out, how do you cope with that stress? Is it food? Is it alcohol? Is it tobacco? All of them can directly impact your overall health, and it can put you in a cycle of, if you're impacting your physical, you're impacting your mental. If you're impacting your mental, you're impacting your physical. I know we've talked about this before. Thoughts lead to feelings, feeling leads to actions, action leads to outcomes, right? And then outcomes lead to thoughts. Well, this happened, so that's what I'm thinking about. That's how I'm feeling about it. So that's what I do. And here I am, again, back in the same outcome. And then I think about it, then I feel about it, then I do it, then I'm back. And then all of a sudden you're 40% over, 40% body fat, overweight, hurting, joints are killing. Your energy sucks. You can barely sleep. You can barely, and CPAP machine and all these other things, right? Okay. That's just one line of many possible outcomes, but we generally know what happens when you're overweight, how it impacts your heart and your lungs, how it impacts your blood sugar, how it impacts the inflammation in the body, which often can lead to cancer. What is the cause of autoimmune diseases? I'm curious to see what it pops up, because we still don't know the exact cause, but it's believed to be a combination of factors including genetics, environmental triggers, immune system dysfunction, and other factors like age, gender, and hormonal changes. I've heard recently a lot of hormonal changes related to a lady having a pregnancy that all of a sudden just changes all the hormones, and autoimmune pops up out of nowhere. I've talked to a lot of ladies, MS, POTS. Some of the other ones are escaping me right now. But long story short, I've talked with a lot of ladies that are dealing with those kinds of things. In fact, one of the gals that comes to my small group private just lost a friend about a month and a half ago, has 4 daughters. Unfortunately, some things happened, got sick, autoimmune popped, got worse and then just suddenly passed in late 30s with a husband and four daughters. Now the husband's like, I got these four daughters. I don't have my wife's swag. I don't have my wife's care. I don't have all that she had to pour into these daughters. Now here's a husband without a wife to bring up the next generation of four young girls, late soon to be ladies in the future in the next, what, 10, 12, 15, 20 years, right? So that's the impact of what health can do. And it can be very tough, right? So, I don't know all the specifics. I just know that's the end result. And that's hard. I'm not saying that, health and fitness could have helped. I don't know. The mental health could have helped. I don't know. I just know that's something that recently happened in my network and those that I know. And the bottom line is if we really focus on our mental health, and we can use financial health, we can use physical health, we can use relationships to help us improve our mental health. So relationships, getting with friends, getting with people who are close, having conversations. My cousin recently just lost her boyfriend and they were planning on getting married. She and I got to have lunch together yesterday and sit down and talk and have a great discussion around some different family dynamics and different things. I think it was mutually edifying for both of us. She's got some messages to me I need to listen to, but that was great. Great for mental health. I hope it was great for her as she's in the season of grief and mourning right now, somebody that she had plans with for life. Physical health. I can't tell you how many times here in Denver area I've talked to people who want to work out with somebody and have a regular fitness regimen with somebody. Can't tell you how much and how valuable that is. Now I'm thinking about it. One of my clients, who's part of our team, I went and did a workout with her, and I haven't thought to ask, like, does she like working out with people, or does she like going solo? Because that might be an opportunity to get to meet some other people in the gym that she works out at, which is an open community center, which is cool. And it's actually an area I'd like to start connecting with others in as well. So yeah, your physical health can be greatly impacted by those you spend time with. If you want to solo, you like to work out by yourself, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Go do it. But there might be other ways like, help with the food or, whatever, getting to bed, waking up, whatever it is. You can go with somebody to the gym. It doesn't mean you have to both work out together. You can go both do your thing, wrap it up, and be on your way to your day. So you went to the gym together to achieve your workout. And then financial health, getting around people who know money well. I've got a certified financial planner that is phenomenal. He knows his stuff. We've sat down and talked to him about some different strategies and things. So we've got a lot of different aspects and ways we can tackle it. That's part of the reason why I landed on that avalanche. Just having that conversation spurred me on to how can we speed up the process we talked to him about so that we can start to take some funds and put it in some different places and have it work for us. So, all that being said, I think it's really important to realize how much mental health can be an impact. And a lot of times, really, it's just a change of mindset. When you put yourself in a position to grow mentally, you will see your financial health grow. You will see, in our case, what we do, your physical health grow. And when you're looking better, feeling better, confident, really exuding, you're not going to have any trouble with relationships. No. Can't tell you how many times we've seen ladies and husbands who've been trying to conceive and have kids struggle, do all the different things. They work on their fitness, they change their nutrition, they get things optimized in their body, they're getting all the essential nutrients in there, they're moving, they're walking, they're working out, they're strength training. Hey, guess what? Surprise! We're pregnant. Baby's on the way. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. And that's because they changed their food and they changed the movement patterns and they started getting after it. So all that being said, I have a dog to go feed. Whoops, I need to get him out the crate and feed him. All that being said, this is a key factor that I wanted to touch on today. So I hope this has been useful for you guys. We'll go ahead and wrap this up because I've also been chatting for some time. We've been going a good solid 30 minutes almost. This is a topic that, as you guys can tell, is really important and key to me. And so I want to make sure you guys have this. We're here every Monday, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Was a little late today. We have topics like this and others. So if you have any particular comments or questions, and you want to see a different topic talked about in the context of how do I do this, how do I do that with my health, my fitness, let me know. Drop it in the comments. We'll see you guys same time, same place on the 17th next week, which happens to be St. Patrick's Day. Chicago is a city that definitely celebrates the turn the river green if you've ever been there. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great one. Hope this information was useful. Go apply it. Please take this and go apply it. If you don't know how to, we've got the programming, we've got the coaching more particularly to address and see what's missing, to make sure we get a clear picture first in place, find out what's going on, what you need, what's missing, cultivate a plan, and then show you how to stay consistent in that plan. So if you will, PPC, if you want, picture, plan, and consistency. Go do it on a regular basis. We are excellent in that, have plenty of different case studies that will most likely relate to what it is that you're working on. So if you need that, great. If you need other resources, we have plenty of things that we can refer you to as well. And we'll leave it at that. Ryan Sanders, Project Fresh. Hope you guys have a great